In this video, we're going to explore the mode of behavior that's connected to the parts of our personality that keep pushing and pushing to do more and more, even to the point of complete and utter emotional, physical, and psychological burnout. These parts have the general perception that things are never good enough as they are, and there's always more that can be done. So today, let's have a conversation about the mode of behavior that we call the perfectionistic overcompensator. When the perfectionistic overcompensator mode is activated within our personality system, our focus generally turns to protecting our vulnerable child from a perceived or real threat by attempting to exercise extreme control over either our own actions or the actions of other people. Sometimes a part can fall into a suspicious version of this mode, which causes our system to experience a sense of hypervigilance, a certain degree of paranoia, and behavioural responses that are purely and simply designed to control what other people in the environment are doing. When blended with a part that's using this particular mode to cope, we make sure that everything in the area of life that this part is concerned with is absolutely perfect. This way, we can avoid any form of judgment or criticism that might activate a sense of shame within our system. Whether this judgment comes from the words of other people in the external world or it's coming from the language of our own internal critics is completely irrelevant. The impact is exactly the same. Now, when we're acting from the perfectionistic overcompensating point of view, we can be seen by other people as someone who gets described as an overachiever in many different areas of life. However, unbeknownst to these other people, this is often to our own emotional and physical detriment in one way or another, as the constant drive to do things perfectly sooner or later leads to some kind of burnout. In the perfectionistic overcompensator mode, it can also be true that we expect other people to be perfect. This belief causes our parts to see things in very black and white or all or nothing terms, taking things from one extreme to the other without room for any type of middle ground. In one example of this, when coupled with the mode of behavior that we know as compliant surrender, as well as a dominating schema of self-sacrifice, this behavior can often lead to making sure that other people's needs are met perfectly, without any kind of compromise, no matter what. Failure to do so is seen as a damning indictment of who we are, and it's this overwhelming fear of the shame that comes from this particular point of view that drives this relentless behavioral response. As I've mentioned on a number of different occasions before, my own vulnerabilities came from the schemas of defectiveness, social isolation, and failure. So avoiding the shame that was connected to these particular stories was a must for my own behavioural responses. My personality, driven by fear, was set up to keep as far away from these feelings as it possibly could at all costs. Sometimes this meant an additional schema of unrelenting standards was activated within my personality system as a way to cope with this devastating fear of shame. And this was regularly matched with my own version of the perfectionistic overcompensator. As the name suggests, this part of my personality was driven to be perfect in everything I did. Failure to reach this level of expectation led to a judgmental internal critic that would reprimand me in many different ways. Sometimes this part would show up with demands on myself to keep doing more, even when I was physically drained and couldn't do any more. Yeah, I think I've done enough for today. I really can't study anymore. I can do more tomorrow, I know. I mean, there's always more I can do right now, but I'm absolutely exhausted. And I need to get some rest.
What do you mean you're going to stop? You can't stop. We won't get the grade we need to get. You know what you need to do. It's the only thing that's acceptable, and you can't stop now. Keep going.
Okay. I can read one more page. One more page. I gotta push through. I can't give up right now. What will people think? I gotta push through if I want to get that A. There were also times when this mode would show up with demands on other people to be there when I needed them to be, regardless of what they had going on at that particular time. Okay, so you're gonna be there tomorrow to help me move, right? No, actually I can't. My wife's expecting a baby, so, I've got to be home with her.
He told you that he'd be there. You need to hold him accountable to what he said he would do. People can't just change their minds like that. It lacks integrity. You have to let him know he needs to have integrity.
What do you mean? This is important. You told me if I needed you that you'd be there. So I need you to be there. My wife is about to...
Seriously?
You tell me one thing and you do another? I don't think that has integrity, do you? More often than not, this mode would kick in when I thought someone else was supposed to do something that I really didn't want to do. This expectation was so high that it activated an angry child as an additional defense mechanism at the same time.
Hey Dave, so you're going to go out with that customer, right?
Actually, no, I can't. It's my lunch break right now. I'm just about to go out. He can't take his lunch break now. There's a customer. That's his responsibility. He can't pick and choose when he does his job. He has to do it now. Make sure he does it now.
What do you mean? That's your job. It's your turn. It's not my turn, it's your turn.
Yeah, but it's my lunch break right now. Sorry, I'm not going to go and see anybody when it's my lunch break.
You're not doing what I want you to do. That's not fair. You're supposed to do what I want you to do. You don't love me. You don't care about me. If you did, you would have done these things when I asked you to do them. You don't love me. You don't care. No.
That's not fair. That's your job, not my job, and you need to do it.
When the perfectionistic overcompensator mode is used by a dominant part of our personality, we are one with the thoughts and feelings that focus on controlling everything within us or everything around us. This mode of behaviour is simply designed to protect our vulnerable child from the threat of judgment, whether this is an internal threat or an external threat. The coping mechanism and its behavioural response are exactly the same. We will push ourselves, and sometimes others, to the very breaking point of physical, emotional and psychological limits, never slowing down to take a breath or appreciate what's already been accomplished, constantly striving to get more without authentically acknowledging and especially not validating what's already been done. People who struggle with this mode of behaviour will often justify its existence with statements like, "What's wrong with pushing myself?" or "How else am I supposed to accomplish things when other people just don't do it?" While these are completely valid points of view, at the same time, the problem with the perfectionistic overcompensator is that it never allows us to stop and take a break from the expectation of perfection. Working with the perfectionistic overcompensator begins, as always, with our own mindful awareness. Practicing one mindfulness effectively every single day helps to build this important muscle. Understanding the language of the part that's using this mode of behavior, the feelings that come with it, and the schema that may or may not be connected to its initial activation starts with our ability to appreciate its presence within our personality system. Once we have this appreciation, planning ahead to build mastery, paying attention to positive events, and the Raven exercise are all key to removing the rigidity this part has for the perfection it is seeking. The perfectionistic overcompensator hinders our ability to live according to our values and beliefs. So learning how to spot this part when it blends with our system is key to building and then living the life we want to live. In the PDF on the website page that's connected to this video, you're going to find a worksheet that's designed to help you identify if this mode is one that you experience as a dominant way of coping with your uncomfortable and unwanted emotional experiences. If you can, download it, print it out, and take some time to read it through. Reflect on the behaviours that are linked to this particular mode and contemplate the questions before you just jump right in and answer them. See how relevant they are to you, and if you think and feel that this is a mode that you use on a regular basis, use the skills of DBT when they're integrated with schema therapy to build awareness for its presence within your personality system. And guys, if you like the content of this video, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and turn on the notifications to get all the latest from me and the Liberation Place. If you want to know more, come join the live online meetings that I facilitate each week on Zoom. You'll find a link to the page containing more information about these groups in the description below. I hope this video gave you some insight for how the perfectionistic overcompensator may exist within your own personality system, along with what we can do to work with it. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Take care, be safe, and be well.